Anti-Afro Svengalis. Yes, we are talking about Dumpsey, Derell, Dempsey Spears. And before I start with the commentary, I need you to please listen in because I got to set up this video. Stay tuned and I will return.
Man, look, Ghost tried to tell him. He's like, nigga, Ghost's exact words was, your station is going to be a liability.
Exactly.
And that's his boy talking. You know what I mean? And he said, fuck him. So, hey, like I said, a lot of these niggas, bro, they are one man, they are one man grave digger in a one man town. Trust me. Trust me. If I was Derell, meaning like I was a licensed therapist, I wouldn't be on this motherfucker behaving like this to begin with. But if I was, I would have stood down years ago. The first time a nigga came at my business, I would have been off this bitch, bro, for real. Like, I'm not worth it. Like, remix, we ain't fucking worth this shit, bro. We're not. Ain't nobody worth it.
Not our business.
When you got real shit going on, like at a certain time, you got to know when to stand down, bro. Go full rudder and turn the fuck back. But, hey, do what you want to do. Everybody free to do what the fuck they want to do.
You got a facade. You got to keep it.
But you got to live with the consequences of what you do.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
He got a character he made. He made this character of the Godfather. He's supposed to be just Mr. Untouchable and King Tut and shit. Like he runs everything, you know. He run our channels and
shit. Hey, once he working them jobs like Lennon do, he gonna be crying too.
Yeah, boy, got his hands full, boy.
Hey, yeah, boy. I'm telling you, that therapy money dry up. All them sugar babies he got, they gonna be gone.
Bro, I don't know. I understand how the fuck a therapist would put his patients on hold for you to respond. Like, what that, yo?
Imagine you being a therapist, nigga. Your patient to see you put him on hold. Hold on, no. I'm on YouTube. I got 30 more minutes on it live. Roasting.
Right.
Come on in.
There's a client on the phone saying that they have an appointment with you in Houston in their third office.
I didn't make an appointment with him.
You remember him?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Just keep it on hold. Give me 1 second. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's there at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered him. I told him to call. But what you're gonna tell him is this. Tell him that I'm in a lot of traffic. And I'm look like I'm not gonna be able to make it in time and we're gonna have to reschedule. What you're gonna tell him is this. Tell him that I'm in a lot of traffic. And I'm look like I'm not gonna be able to make it in time and we're gonna have to reschedule. But he really didn't. Because basically I remember I told him I was not gonna be available next week. And I told him he was gonna have to contact you to set the appointment. Because I'm not doing it because now that I mess up when I do it myself. And I just brought everybody to call you now instead of me doing it. And I gave him your number and everything. Matter of fact, didn't he make the appointment himself? Yeah, so I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let him know I'm not gonna be there. It's gonna be maybe 45 minutes and we better off rescheduling for next week. All right. Okay guys, I'm back. Had to take care of a business situation. Had a little discrepancy in some things and I was not able to take care of some things and we had to do some rescheduling and some mix up. Those things happen in business and I encounter that from time to time.
So you heard from Remix, you heard from P, you heard from KIP, and then I don't know the other person. The name wasn't ID'd when I got the clip. But let me tell you this much. When you go to the end of the video, don't touch that dial after you hear buyer beware. This is not the end of the video. This is by no means the end of this video. You have heard Dumpsey, Derell, Dempsey Spears come onto the internet and try to spin a scenario that's totally false. He wants you to accept that scenario. And this actually goes back to when I came on to the Smokes live stream a few months back. He got on there and he engaged Rev G, and he was making all these threats about, if you do this, if you do anything with my business, I'm suing you, all this stuff. Let me tell you something. Dumpsey tries very hard to convince all of you that he has control over his destiny. Oh my God, I do not want to discount the fact that Dumpsey has been harassing us for years. He's been harassing me, he's been harassing Rev G and Rev G's wife by constantly talking about her in sexual terms. It's disgusting. Dumpsey's also harassed many other anti-fraud warriors and people he suspects are anti-fraud warriors. Anybody that doesn't agree with Dumpsey is an anti-fraud warrior. It's pathetic, people. Well, let's start with this. If you had control of your destiny, what are you doing with the disciplinary mark on your license? You were compelled to enter into an agreement. The facts remain. You absconded with $8,000 plus, and you did it by using the licensing or billing information from a colleague, and you try to lie and say it was clerical error. But here's the problem. There's no reference to any clerical errors or billing errors. It fell all on you. And if someone had done you dirty, you're up here talking about suing us. Why didn't you sue the person who caused you to have to sign an agreement where you lost your supervisory privileges? You are not qualified, no longer eligible to supervise people seeking licensure. And why is that? Because your ethical standards are whack. And this is representative of that agreement you signed like a little child. You were very angry. So you're up here making all these statements about Lennon Honor and Rev G. You're way, way, way late. This materialized quite some time ago. You were just trying to catch up. You didn't know anything. You're shocked like a lot of people were. Why? Because we don't have big mouths like you. Our mouths aren't running far ahead of what's supposed to be logical thought. So let me let you know something that you need to be worried about. You keep trying to find a way to engage Rev G. But let me tell you this. You should be worrying about yourself. Let me tell you this, people. Dumpsey wants you all to believe that he has total control over what happens in his so-called business, he calls it, okay? He has contracts, like many of us do. Contracts come with a performance, and part of that performance is public input, your perception in the public eye. So Dumpsey doesn't get to decide on his own what contracts he has. If that were the case, how did Open Path dump you? And other people have told us there have been other entities that you were signed up with and you're no longer there. What happened? They kicked you to the curb as well. But here's what you really need to get ready for. Perhaps, I would say, fifth or sixth down the line would be among the most common requests on how to file a complaint against you. People want to know. People continuously make the remark that you are so far out of line. So what do? You come on here and you try to throw me in. It doesn't even bother me what you say about me because you know absolutely nothing. Her failed marriage and family therapy business. Yeah, right. Like my contractors would be reaching out to you and talking to you. I don't even have to advertise. What does that tell you? I have a very specialized referral system. You are the one that's relying on public advertising. I'm not on Psychology Today. I don't need to be on psychology today. My mentor set me and my partner up when we got into this business many, many, many years ago. When we were working in social services, we were being mentored by some very, very highly reputable professionals. We had stellar mentoring. I don't get the impression, no, I shouldn't say I don't get the impression. I am certain you have no mentors. You're completely flying solo. That's very dangerous in this business. Who are you consulting with? There's no way in hell you're consulting with anybody reputable because it would never stand for what you're doing. Up here running live streams from your office? I can't even imagine. Well, we're primarily still here in California on Zoom, or I'm in the field going to wherever, a hospital, clinic, juvenile hall, whatever. It's all over the place. I'm community based. I'm not sitting in an office all day long. Never have worked like that. But even when I've been in the office and I am doing work, seeing clients in the office, there's no way in hell I could get on YouTube and do a live stream. That's just bizarre. How in the world how does your mind separate? You have to have your mind into this when you were doing this. You cannot be sitting here on YouTube doing live streams and you turn around and you see a client. You're not preparing for the client, as you saw or heard in that video, which was shortened. He was so discombobulated. You need to be focused on what you're doing. Now, there are people here on YouTube who do videos from their office, but they're very focused and specific about what they're talking about. It might be between a session, but they're giving education on the field. They're not off on some tangent doing something else from their office. Now, do whatever you want from your office. I'm just letting you know it's bizarre behavior. Now, there's a person who it's very creative. She does assessments on, I can't remember the name of the show, fictitious characters. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's actually pretty creative. This person has found a way to be on YouTube sharing information about mental health and does assessments on fictitious characters on the series. I don't remember which one. Dumpsey wants you to believe that he's serious as a heart attack about providing services in the office while he's up here on YouTube at the same time and speaking clients' names. He's so confused and disorganized, he doesn't know when the button is on or off. And on at least two separate occasions at least, he has spoken clients' names out loud, whether he's on the phone or like you heard here, the person is walking in saying the name and he's still on YouTube live, broadcasting to the world. You're on YouTube. You're not doing any work either. And when somebody comes in to try to ask you about something, you don't even want to deal with it. I can't even imagine sitting in my office pre-COVID and quit lying about your warning. You rendered a diagnosis, a conclusion. Nobody said you sat down and did anything because you don't know a damn thing about me. That's impossible. That's why your ass got in trouble. You finalized. You rendered a diagnosis and you do it to other people. It's unethical. So let me explain to you what you have to worry about. You need to worry about, are you really certified as a domestic violence provider? That should not last for too long because of the things that you do and say about people who are in the justice system. You have no business serving as a domestic violence treatment provider. None. So people keep asking, how do I file a complaint? Now, let me tell you this, people. Do you know how many times Dumpsey has run his nasty ass live streams? And on the bottom, he has what do you call, the thing that runs across at the bottom? The ticker tape or whatever you call it. He runs my name. And then he says, contact the Board of Behavioral Sciences. Do I give a damn? No. I don't care. There's nothing Dumpsey can report about me. Well, he can report it, but it's not going to go anywhere. I don't do the things that he does. You cannot sit up here and complain about anybody giving anyone instructions about how to report you for the things that you're doing. You're a public servant who is completely and totally inappropriate in so many respects. And here's the difference between the two of us. You're constantly invoking your profession in everything you say and do. I don't do that. I just come on here and deliver content. You constantly tell people that you're a therapist. You are representing the profession when you come on YouTube and you keep lying and saying that you're not. It doesn't matter that the people you're addressing aren't part of a contract that you're under. No contractor wants a representation the way you come onto YouTube, calling people slow boys, ridiculing people. You say they are disabled and they have erectile dysfunction. You're saying it in public. Coming after someone who's a registered sex offender, ridiculing people who you claim have DV charges. How the hell does that make sense? That you say you're a certified treatment provider for domestic violence, people who are in the justice system, and you're up here ridiculing people who you claim have convictions or have entanglements that involve domestic violence. That's incompatible with you being a contractor. Yes, it is. So what I'm saying about Dumpsey is factual. What he's saying about me is total bald-faced lies. He doesn't know anything about me because I don't get on here and I don't talk about what I do. I've been doing what I've been doing for a great many years. I don't have to advertise. Dumpsey, you do. You were crying about open path, but you're doing this to yourself. How many people have come on here and taken Dumpsey to task about his lack of professionalism because he's sitting in an office? He's sitting in an office bragging about what he supposedly has, using his license as a weapon and trying to denigrate any and everybody using a license. That is lame. That shows that you're trying your hardest to be above other people. It's not working out. People are not impressed. And for you to sit here and complain about people out here in these YouTube streets that come on and give advice, and I put in quotations advice or opinions about relationships, so what? Anybody can come in here and give an opinion about anything. They're not providing therapy, they're giving opinions. Why the hell do you care what somebody is saying in terms of an opinion? So you're territorial about something that you're not even qualified to render yourself. You are not a family therapist. You are not a couples therapist. You have not been trained in these interventions here. If you haven't been trained in these areas, you cannot call yourself a family therapist. Well, some of the things that you were saying about screaming at people and calling people names, oh my God. Listen, you do not put on the website that you were trained in family therapy and couples therapy, relationship therapy. You're not qualified to do it. So you really can't be complaining about other people who are on YouTube just giving opinions. That's a fact. Where's your training? To be qualified as an expert, you need training, education, and experience. And training means you have someone who was mentoring you, who is senior in the profession, someone you consult with, in addition to having your colleagues you consult with. This is a process. There's no indication you have any of that because of the things that you're doing. Your mentors or your colleagues support what you're doing. I don't believe you have anybody around you. You never refer to anybody. You're just up here saying you have a license and you're better than everybody. And you're violating so many ethical standards. You are talking about people claiming they have erectile dysfunction, that they're living in skilled nursing facilities. You are denigrating the fact that they supposedly have a disability. You even said that a woman can't be coerced into giving a man oral sex. And you claim you're a family therapy expert, you're a couples relationship expert. What the hell are you talking about? You're domestic violence? No, you're not an expert in any of these areas. I don't care what kind of class you took. Training, experience, education, demonstrated knowledge. Are you able, right here and now, without any book, name 5 features of each of these interventions. You can't do it. I know you can't do it. Quit trying to put yourself in a position that you have never been in because you're trying to impress people on the internet. This is nothing to play with. Nothing to play with at all. People are lining up demanding to know how to file a complaint against you. And you're up here on the internet thinking you can get me in trouble? You can't get me in trouble for what? Nothing I've ever said about you was frivolous. It's factual. We can present documentation of what you're doing. I don't go for anybody playing tricks. I don't know about those phone calls, somebody calling. I don't know anything about that. But if people are serious, they should be given the information about any professional, including myself. You ran those ticker tapes on how many live streams? Well, let me let you in on something. I haven't received a single solitary phone call or email about a complaint being filed, which means it went nowhere. There was no merit. You just can't go filing a complaint on someone and expecting a licensing board to accept it when it's garbage. No more than this federal case where the person was telling all kinds of lies about me and the judge shot it down. No restraining order. There are no grounds, just like you continue to spread lies about everybody and expecting it to stick. You have this investment. Keep it on YouTube. Of course you want it kept on YouTube because you don't want these contractors to find out what you're doing. I thought I'd let you know that people are lining up and demanding information on how to file a complaint. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's lying on you. They are providing clips of your own words. What the hell can you say? You can't say anything. You're bragging about lawyers here and lawyers there. Well, this lawyer got you this agreement where you were so angry and you signed on a dotted line, and you can't supervise anybody who's pursuing licensure because you can't be trusted. And that behavior is evident. You have come online and at least 2 times you have stated your clients' names. And unfortunately, we have the names of those clients. It's not ethical for us to do anything in terms of reaching out directly to the client. But what we can do is let the provider know. We found out who the provider is. We can't just go intruding upon one of your clients that you mistreated here in public. You did that. Don't say anything to anybody because people heard it. You did it on air, and that needs to be addressed. I'm not going into, we know that Rev G reached out to you, and you still don't get it. That tells us you're not being mentored. You don't have colleagues you can rely on. You are flying solo, and that is the most dangerous thing you can do as a therapist. You don't listen to anybody. You find ways to attack people for protected class issues, and you denigrate them for their criminal record while you say you are a provider of services to those who are involved in the justice system, and you're trashing people for their alleged criminal record. That doesn't compute. So I suggest you lay off, Rev G, this boring ass perspective you have on Lynn and Honor. You're way late. You need to worry about yourself. I want to backtrack a little bit to the disciplinary action on Dumpsey's record. He tries his hardest to downplay the significance of that disciplinary action. I'm going to explain to you what the significance is. Dumpsey wants you to think that it's his decision about whether entity X, Y, and Z, A, B, C, or D will sign a contract with him or execute a contract with him. That is not his decision. That is their decision. They decide, these companies, these entities, whether or not they want you to represent them and provide services to clients, which includes billing for services. And this is an issue regarding billing for services, this disciplinary action against Dumpsey. So they can decide to outright not re-sign him or even sign with him if they haven't before. They can ask for more information about exactly what happened. or they can move forward and go ahead and execute a contract with him. That is their decision. It's not Dumpsey's decision. So him saying, I've got this and I got that, did you disclose this to the contractors? I have no idea to what extent Texas researches providers before executing contracts. I have no idea. I know what they do in my state, and it's extremely stringent. You're not going to get away with anything if you're doing anything unethical, inappropriate, illegal, especially when it comes to the money. And yes, those are indeed Medicare funds. So it is up to the contractors to decide if they will execute a contract. And he is going to have to go through a clearinghouse that's through the federal government because it's Medicare funds. Now, they don't always put people who have disciplinary action on that register right away, but you need to go and get clearance with that register. If you don't get clearance to that register, it's unlikely that a health entity, which is what it's called, health, will contract with somebody. Are you serious? This is money. He got caught with the 8,000. How long would this have gone on if he had not been caught? Who knows? That is up to them to decide. Dumpsey doesn't make the decision. Now here's something else. He's required to disclose to the liability insurance company. Every company has different timelines. Some make you disclose it within 30 days. Some say since you last were covered under a policy or the policy renewed. He has to let them know legally. When he lets them know, the insurance carrier, the liability insurance carrier, gets to decide whether or not they want to retain him on a policy or are they going to up the rates. And the rates would be increased substantially because now there is a huge red flag or a white flag. Remember, white hot is much hotter than red hot because it has to do with billing malfeasance. Now, where is Dumpsey's lawsuit suing the people he claims made the mistake? That would give him some sort of credibility, but he doesn't even have that. He made it up. He blames it on other people. Where is this blaming of other people? Why is this not in the investigation process? There's no mention of other people. He got busted. That's what happened, people. Then he sits up here and tries to pass judgment on the world. It doesn't work like that. People, you know, there's so much more to come. I'm going to change up on the bonus because I don't want anybody to miss the bonus. I'm going to post it separately after I get it together. But you know the drill. Buyer beware.